Let me ask you a question. Have you ever met someone who walked into a room and instantly caught everyone's attention, even though they weren't wearing expensive clothes or perfect makeup? What made them unforgettable? It wasn't their lipstick. It wasn't their hairstyle. It wasn't the brand they were wearing. It was something invisible. It was their energy. Because beauty may catch someone's eye for a moment, but energy captures their heart forever. And today, I want to share 5 habits that make some women glow from the inside out. Habits that no makeup artist can create. We live in a world that tells women they need another beauty product, another skincare routine, another filter. But here's the truth. People don't remember the shade of your lipstick. They remember how you made them feel. The most magnetic women aren't trying to look beautiful. They're focused on becoming someone who brings light into every room they enter. So today, remember this. Makeup can enhance your appearance, fashion can improve your style, but neither can replace the energy that comes from peace, self-respect, growth, kindness, and purpose. Because years from now, people won't remember what foundation you wore. They'll remember your smile, your confidence, your kindness, your courage, and most importantly, they'll remember how your energy made them feel. Thank you. Carrying a phone that starts every morning with only 20% battery. You would be careful about how you use it. You wouldn't leave dozens of unnecessary apps running in the background. You wouldn't waste power on things that don't matter because you know your battery is limited. Yet every single day, many people do exactly that with their emotional energy. They wake up with a fresh mind. But before the day is even halfway over, their energy has already been drained by unnecessary arguments, endless comparisons, toxic relationships, social media negativity, and the constant need to prove themselves to people who were never going to understand them in the first place. The most radiant women understand something that many people learn only after years of frustration. Energy is a limited resource. Every conversation, every commitment, every relationship, and every decision either adds to that energy or takes something away from it. Their beauty doesn't come from having a perfect face. It comes from having a peaceful mind. And a peaceful mind is one of the most attractive qualities a person can possess. Think about the people you admire the most. Chances are they are not the loudest people in the room. They are often the calmest. They don't react to every insult. They don't feel the need to win every argument. They don't allow someone else's bad mood to become their problem. Instead, they have mastered one simple but powerful habit. They protect their peace. Now, protecting your peace doesn't mean avoiding challenges or pretending that life is perfect. It doesn't mean ignoring problems or running away from difficult conversations. It means being intentional about where your emotional energy goes. It means understanding that not every opinion deserves a response. Not every battle deserves your attention, and not every person deserves unlimited access to your heart. One of the greatest misconceptions in today's world is that strength is measured by how loudly you fight. But real strength is often measured by what you choose not to fight. Anyone can react. Anyone can raise their voice. Anyone can argue. It takes far greater strength to stay calm when everyone expects you to lose control. It takes confidence to smile instead of seeking revenge. It takes wisdom to walk away from drama instead of feeding it. Imagine standing in a garden. If you spend all your time pulling weeds but never watering the flowers, what will happen? Eventually, the entire garden suffers. Life works the same way. If you spend every day focusing on negativity, criticism, and conflict, you leave no energy for your dreams, your family, your health, or your purpose. Protecting your peace means choosing to water the flowers instead of constantly fighting the weeds. Many people believe they lose energy because life is hard. Sometimes that's true. But more often, they lose energy because they keep saying yes to things that should have been a no. They answer messages that don't deserve a reply. They keep relationships that only bring stress. They compare themselves to strangers online. They carry guilt that isn't theirs to carry. Little by little, these small decisions steal their joy. The women whose beauty comes from their energy have learned to set healthy boundaries. Boundaries are not walls built to keep people out. They are doors that allow the right people in while protecting you from unnecessary harm. Saying no doesn't make you selfish. It makes you responsible for your own well-being. Every time you protect your peace, you are protecting your future self. Notice how peaceful people walk into a room. They don't rush to impress anyone. They don't desperately seek attention. Their confidence is quiet because it comes from within. They understand that their value isn't determined by likes, compliments, or approval from strangers. They know who they are, and because of that, they don't need to convince everyone else. There is a powerful difference between being respected and being accepted. Many people sacrifice their peace trying to gain acceptance from people who may never appreciate them. But women with lasting inner beauty choose self-respect over people-pleasing. They understand that disappointing others occasionally is far healthier than constantly disappointing themselves. Life will always offer distractions. There will always be gossip, criticism, misunderstandings, and negativity. You cannot control all of those things. What you can control is your response. Every morning you have a choice. You can spend your energy proving your worth to the world, or you can invest that energy in becoming the person you were created to be. Because at the end of the day, the most beautiful woman is not the one with flawless makeup or perfect features. She is the one whose heart is at peace, whose mind is clear, and whose presence makes others feel safe. Her glow is not something she applies in front of a mirror. It is something she protects every single day by choosing peace over drama, purpose over distraction, and self-respect over approval. That is the kind of beauty that never fades, because it doesn't come from what is on the outside. It comes from the energy she refuses to let the world steal. Every morning, before you speak to another person, someone has already been talking to you for hours. That voice isn't your family. It isn't your friends. It isn't your coworkers. It's your own inner voice. And the quality of that conversation quietly shapes the quality of your entire day. Here's something fascinating. Most people spend their lives believing that confidence comes from compliments. They think they'll finally believe in themselves when enough people tell them they're beautiful, talented, or worthy. But confidence built on compliments is fragile, because the moment the applause stops, so does the confidence. The women whose beauty comes from their energy understand a different truth. They know that real confidence is built through the words they say to themselves when no one else is listening. Think about it. If your best friend came to you after making a mistake, would you say, "You're a failure. You'll never be good enough. Everyone is better than you"? Of course not. You would encourage them. You would remind them that one mistake doesn't define their future. You would help them see possibilities instead of problems. Yet many people become their own harshest critic. One small mistake becomes proof that they're not capable. One rejection becomes evidence that they're not worthy. One failure becomes a permanent label they carry for years. The tragedy is that they would never treat someone they love this way, but they do it to themselves every single day. The women who radiate genuine beauty make a conscious decision to change that conversation. They understand that self-respect begins with self-talk. Every encouraging word they give themselves becomes another brick in the foundation of their confidence. This doesn't mean they pretend everything is perfect. It doesn't mean they ignore their weaknesses or refuse to grow. It simply means they choose honesty over cruelty. They can admit, "I made a mistake," without saying, "I am a mistake." Those are two completely different statements. One encourages growth. The other destroys identity. Imagine planting two seeds in separate gardens. Every day, you water one with encouragement, patience, and hope. The other you water with criticism, doubt, and negativity. After several months, which garden will flourish? The answer is obvious. Our minds work in exactly the same way. The thoughts we repeat become the beliefs we carry, and those beliefs eventually become the life we live. Many people underestimate the power of repetition. If you tell yourself every day that you're not smart enough, not attractive enough, or not successful enough, eventually your mind accepts those words as facts. On the other hand, if you consistently remind yourself that you're learning, growing, and becoming stronger, your mind begins looking for evidence to support those beliefs instead. Energy follows belief. When you believe you're capable, you walk differently, you speak differently, you smile more often, you take healthy risks, you recover faster from setbacks. Nothing on the outside may have changed, yet people notice something different about you because your energy has changed. Have you ever noticed how some people light up a room with nothing more than a smile? That smile isn't created by perfect teeth or expensive cosmetics. It comes from someone who has made peace with themselves. There is a calmness in people who no longer spend every day fighting their own reflection. The world already offers enough criticism. Social media tells people they need a better body, better clothes, better skin, a better career, and a better life. Advertising profits by convincing people they're incomplete. If you allow every outside voice to define your worth, you'll spend your entire life chasing an impossible standard that keeps moving farther away. That's why your inner voice matters more than ever. The women who protect their energy choose not to repeat the world's criticism inside their own minds. Instead, they become their own source of encouragement. They celebrate progress instead of demanding perfection. They acknowledge effort instead of focusing only on results. They understand that growth is a journey, not a race. This habit also changes the way they treat others. People who constantly criticize themselves often become overly sensitive to criticism from others because they're already carrying so much self-doubt. But people who extend grace to themselves naturally extend grace to others. Their kindness isn't forced. It flows from a heart that has learned compassion. Think about the strongest people you've ever met. Chances are, they weren't the ones who believed they were perfect. They were the ones who accepted their imperfections without allowing those imperfections to define them. They understood that confidence isn't believing you'll never fail. Confidence is believing you'll still have value even when you do. Every day presents a choice. You can become the voice that tears yourself down, or you can become the voice that lifts yourself up. One choice drains your energy, while the other multiplies it. One fills your mind with fear, while the other fills it with hope. The women whose beauty comes from their energy know this secret. The relationship you have with yourself sets the standard for every other relationship in your life. When you learn to respect yourself, speak kindly to yourself, and believe in your own potential, you begin to carry an invisible confidence that no makeup, fashion, or external validation can ever replace. Because true beauty isn't created by what you apply to your face. It is created by the words you choose to plant in your heart every single day. And when those words are filled with kindness, patience, and belief, they create an energy so powerful that the world cannot help but notice it. Imagine meeting two women who are the same age. One spends every day repeating yesterday, doing the same things, thinking the same thoughts, and avoiding every challenge. The other spends just 20 minutes each day learning something new, reading a few pages of a book, listening to a meaningful podcast, practicing a skill, or stepping outside her comfort zone. Fast forward 5 years. They may still look similar on the outside, but they will carry completely different energy. Why? Because growth changes a person from the inside out. The women whose beauty comes from their energy understand one powerful truth. They never stop growing. They don't believe that education ends when school ends, or that personal development is only for successful people. They realize that every day is an opportunity to become a little wiser, a little kinder, a little stronger, and a little more confident than they were yesterday. Growth is attractive because it creates curiosity, it creates excitement, it creates hope. Think about the people who inspire you. They are rarely the ones who claim to know everything. Instead, they are lifelong learners. They ask questions, they seek new experiences. They remain humble enough to admit they don't have all the answers. That humility becomes one of their greatest strengths because it keeps them open to transformation. Many people fear change because change is uncomfortable. Our brains naturally prefer what is familiar. Familiar feels safe. But here's the problem. Comfort and growth rarely live in the same place. If you always stay where it's comfortable, you may feel secure, but you'll never discover what you're truly capable of becoming. The women who radiate positive energy have learned to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. They understand that every new challenge is shaping a stronger version of themselves. Whether it's learning a new language, starting a business, developing a new hobby, improving their health, or simply learning to communicate better, they see every experience as an investment in their future. Think back to when you first learned to ride a bicycle. At the beginning, you probably fell several times. You felt awkward. You doubted yourself. But imagine if you had decided after the first fall that you simply weren't meant to ride a bike. You would have missed out on a skill that later became second nature. Life works the same way. Every expert was once a beginner. Every confident person was once uncertain. Every successful woman once stood exactly where you are now, wondering if she was good enough. The difference wasn't talent alone. The difference was the willingness to keep growing. Growth also changes the way you see failure. Most people see failure as proof that they should stop. Women with lasting inner beauty see failure as feedback. Instead of asking, "Why did this happen to me?" they ask, "What is this trying to teach me?" That simple shift in perspective transforms obstacles into opportunities. Consider a tree during different seasons. In the winter, it may appear lifeless. Its branches are bare, and nothing seems to be happening. But beneath the surface, the roots continue to grow. When spring arrives, the growth that was invisible suddenly becomes visible. Human growth often works the same way. There are seasons when it feels like you're making no progress. You're studying, practicing, praying, working, and improving, but no one notices. Yet beneath the surface, your character is developing. Your patience is growing. Your wisdom is expanding. And eventually, the results become impossible to ignore. The most inspiring women don't compare their journey to someone else's timeline. Comparison steals joy because it distracts you from your own progress. Someone will always be ahead of you in one area of life. Someone will always have more experience, more resources, or more recognition. But that's not the point. The goal isn't to become someone else. The goal is to become the best version of yourself. Growth requires patience, because transformation rarely happens overnight. We live in a culture that celebrates instant results, but the most meaningful changes take time. A seed doesn't become a tree in a week. A masterpiece isn't painted in a single hour. Strong character isn't built in one difficult moment. It is built through thousands of small choices made consistently over time. This is why daily habits matter so much. Reading 10 pages a day may not seem impressive. Practicing a skill for 30 minutes may feel insignificant. Having one meaningful conversation each day may not make headlines. But over months and years, these small actions compound into extraordinary results. Success is often less about dramatic breakthroughs and more about quiet consistency. Another beautiful quality of women who keep growing is that they inspire growth in others. Their passion becomes contagious. They don't make people feel small. They make people believe that improvement is possible. When they share what they've learned, they don't do it to prove they're intelligent. They do it because they genuinely want others to succeed. That generosity creates a positive energy that naturally attracts people. The truth is, your greatest competition isn't the woman sitting next to you. It isn't the influencer on social media or the successful entrepreneur you admire. Your greatest competition is the person you were yesterday. Every day offers a new opportunity to learn one more lesson, overcome one more fear, and become one step closer to the person you were created to be. The women whose beauty comes from their energy understand that real beauty isn't something you achieve once and then keep forever. It grows as you grow. Every book you read, every lesson you learn, every challenge you overcome, and every act of courage you display adds another layer to your character. And character has a glow that no cosmetic product can imitate. Because in the end, people are not inspired by perfection. They are inspired by progress. They are drawn to those who continue learning, continue growing, and continue becoming better. Not because they have to, but because they believe life is a gift too precious to stop evolving. That commitment to growth becomes the source of an energy that shines brighter with every passing year. Walk into any room filled with successful, confident women, and you'll notice something interesting. The ones with the strongest presence are rarely the ones trying to outshine everyone else. Instead, they're often the first to applaud another woman's success, celebrate someone else's achievement, or offer encouragement when someone is struggling. Their confidence doesn't shrink when others shine. In fact, it grows brighter. That's because they understand a powerful truth. Lifting others up never lowers you. We live in a world that often teaches us to compete before we learn to connect. From an early age, many people are told that there are only a few seats at the table, only a limited amount of success, only one person who can be recognized. This way of thinking creates fear. It convinces people that another person's success somehow threatens their own. But women whose beauty comes from their energy reject this mindset. They understand that life is not a competition for attention. It is an opportunity to make a difference. Think about a candle. If one candle lights another, does the first candle lose its flame? Of course not. The room simply becomes brighter. The same is true of encouragement. When you inspire someone, support someone, or celebrate someone's victory, you don't lose your value. You multiply the light around you. One of the clearest signs of inner confidence is the ability to genuinely celebrate another person's success without comparing it to your own. That sounds simple, but it requires emotional maturity. It means being secure enough to clap for someone else while trusting that your own time will come. It means believing that another person's blessing is not evidence that you've been forgotten. Comparison is one of the fastest ways to drain your energy. Every time you compare your life to someone else's, you stop appreciating your own journey. Social media has made this even more challenging. Every day we see highlights of other people's lives, their promotions, vacations, achievements, relationships, and milestones. If we're not careful, we begin measuring our behind the scenes against everyone else's highlight reel. The women who radiate positive energy choose a different path. Instead of asking, "Why not me?" they ask, "How wonderful that someone is succeeding." That shift changes everything. Gratitude replaces jealousy. Inspiration replaces insecurity. Hope replaces fear. Here's another beautiful truth. People remember how you made them feel far longer than they remember what you accomplished. Think back to someone who believed in you before you believed in yourself. Perhaps it was a teacher who encouraged you, a friend who stood by you during a difficult season, or a mentor who reminded you of your potential. Chances are you still remember their words today. Their encouragement became part of your story. Now imagine becoming that person for someone else. Sometimes lifting others doesn't require grand gestures. It can be as simple as offering a sincere compliment, sending a message of encouragement, listening without judgment, or recognizing someone's hard work. Small acts of kindness often leave the biggest impact because they arrive when people need them most. There is also something remarkable that happens inside us when we focus on helping others. We stop becoming consumed by our own problems. We gain perspective. We realize that everyone is carrying battles we cannot see. The woman who smiles confidently may be overcoming heartbreak. The colleague who seems successful may be struggling with self-doubt. The stranger who appears strong may be silently fighting anxiety. Kindness reminds us that every person deserves compassion because every person has a story. Women with lasting inner beauty understand that true leadership isn't about being the center of attention. It's about making others feel seen. They don't need every conversation to revolve around them. They ask questions. They listen carefully. They celebrate other people's ideas. They create spaces where others feel valued and respected. This habit also builds trust. People naturally gravitate toward those who make them feel safe instead of judged. Think about the individuals who leave you feeling energized after a conversation. They usually aren't the ones who spent an hour talking about themselves. They are the ones who made you feel heard, appreciated, and understood. That is the power of generosity of spirit. Of course, lifting others doesn't mean ignoring your own dreams. It doesn't mean saying yes to everyone or allowing people to take advantage of your kindness. Healthy kindness includes healthy boundaries. You can encourage others while still protecting your own peace. You can celebrate someone else's success while continuing to pursue your own goals with passion and determination. The women whose beauty comes from their energy know that confidence isn't proven by being better than everyone else. It is revealed by wanting everyone to become better together. They believe that success is not a ladder where one person climbs while pushing others down. It is a bridge where people help one another move forward. Imagine what our families, workplaces, and communities would look like if more people lived this way. Instead of competing for recognition, we would celebrate contribution. Instead of criticizing mistakes, we would encourage growth. Instead of looking for flaws, we would look for strengths. The atmosphere would change because the energy would change. In the end, people may forget your achievements, your appearance, or even the words you spoke, but they will never forget how you made them feel. They will remember the woman who celebrated them when no one else noticed. They will remember the one who believed in them during difficult times. They will remember the one whose kindness gave them the courage to keep going. That is a beauty no mirror can reflect. It doesn't come from makeup, fashion, or perfection. It comes from a generous heart that chooses encouragement over envy, connection over competition, and love over comparison. And when a woman carries that kind of energy, she doesn't just brighten her own life. She becomes a light that helps others discover their own. Have you ever noticed that some people seem to wake up every morning with a sense of direction? They don't necessarily have an easier life. They face challenges, disappointments, and uncertainty just like everyone else. Yet there is something different about them. There is a calm confidence in the way they walk, a quiet determination in the way they speak. and an unmistakable energy that draws people toward them. What creates that kind of presence? More often than not, it isn't talent, beauty, or success. It's purpose. Purpose is one of the most powerful sources of human energy. It gives meaning to ordinary days and strength during difficult seasons. Without purpose, life can feel like a series of endless routines, waking up, going to work, completing responsibilities, and repeating the same cycle day after day. But when you discover your purpose, even ordinary tasks become meaningful because you understand that they are connected to something greater than yourself. The women whose beauty comes from their energy understand this deeply. They don't wake up every morning asking, "How can I impress people today?" Instead, they ask, "How can I make a difference today?" That simple shift changes everything. When your focus moves from gaining attention to creating impact, your energy becomes authentic. People are naturally attracted to those who live with intention because purpose creates a confidence that doesn't depend on external approval. Think of an arrow. An arrow only moves with power when it has a clear direction. Without direction, it simply falls to the ground. Human life is no different. Many people are busy, but they're not purposeful. They're constantly moving, but rarely moving towards something meaningful. They spend years climbing a ladder only to discover it was leaning against the wrong wall. Purpose ensures that your effort is aligned with what truly matters. One of the biggest challenges in today's world is distraction. Every day, we're surrounded by messages telling us what success should look like. Social media encourages us to chase likes. Advertising encourages us to chase possessions. Society often encourages us to chase status. But purpose asks a different question. It asks, what kind of person are you becoming? Because at the end of life, your character will matter far more than your popularity. Women who live with purpose don't compare themselves to everyone else because they understand they are running their own race. Imagine runners competing in a marathon. The moment one runner constantly looks sideways to compare with everyone else, they lose focus on the path ahead. In life, comparison has the same effect. It distracts you from your unique calling. Purpose keeps your eyes forward instead of sideways. Purpose also gives you resilience. Anyone can stay motivated when life is easy. But what happens when things go wrong? What happens when doors close, relationships end, plans fail, or dreams seem delayed? This is where purpose becomes your anchor. When you know why you're doing something, you can endure almost any obstacle along the way. Think about a lighthouse standing on the edge of the ocean. Storms come. Powerful waves crash against it. Fierce winds shake it. Yet the lighthouse remains standing because it was built for that very purpose. It doesn't complain about the storm. It continues shining its light because ships depend on it. Purpose gives people that same stability. It doesn't remove the storms of life, but it gives you a reason to keep shining through them. Another beautiful quality of purpose-driven women is that they don't seek validation from everyone they meet. They understand that if you spend your life trying to please everyone, you'll eventually lose yourself. Instead of asking for permission to be who they are, they embrace the gifts, talents, and values that make them unique. They know that not everyone will understand their journey, and they're at peace with that. Confidence grows when you stop asking the world to approve of your identity. Purpose also changes the way you see success. Success is no longer measured only by money, titles, or recognition. Those things may come, and they can certainly be valuable, but they are no longer the ultimate goal. A purposeful woman measures success by the lives she touches, the kindness she shares, the lessons she learns, and the legacy she leaves behind. She understands that true fulfillment comes not from accumulating more, but from contributing more. Imagine planting a tree. You may never sit under its shade today. In fact, someone else may enjoy its fruit years after you've planted it. Yet you still plant the tree because purpose isn't always about immediate rewards. It's about creating something meaningful that lasts beyond you. The most inspiring women think this way. They invest in their families, mentor younger people, support their communities, and build lives that continue making a difference long after they're gone. Purpose doesn't have to be something dramatic or world famous. You don't need millions of followers or a global platform to live purposefully. Your purpose may be raising children with love, teaching students, serving your community, caring for those in need, building a business that helps others, creating art that inspires hope, or simply being a source of encouragement wherever you go. Great purpose is not defined by the size of the audience, but by the sincerity of the impact. When people meet a woman who lives with purpose, they feel it immediately. She doesn't need to announce her importance because her actions speak louder than her words. She listens with intention. She speaks with kindness. She acts with integrity. She remains hopeful during difficult times because she knows that every challenge is shaping her into the person she's meant to become. Her life has direction, and direction creates confidence. In the end, makeup can enhance your appearance for a few hours. Fashion can make a strong first impression. Success can earn applause for a season. But none of those things create the lasting glow that purpose does. Purpose gives your eyes hope, your words meaning, your actions consistency, and your life significance. It creates an energy that no mirror can measure and no cosmetic product can imitate, because the most beautiful women are not those who spend their lives asking, "How can I look better?" They are the ones who wake up every day asking, "How can I live better? How can I serve better? How can I leave this world a little brighter than I found it?" And when a woman lives from that place of purpose, she carries a light that never fades, a beauty that grows stronger with every life she touches and every meaningful step she takes. There is one habit that quietly ties all the others together, and it is this. They choose gratitude over constant dissatisfaction. The women whose beauty comes from their energy understand that a grateful heart creates a beautiful life. They know that happiness is not something waiting at the finish line after achieving the perfect career, the perfect relationship, or the perfect appearance. Happiness begins the moment you learn to appreciate what you already have while continuing to grow toward what you hope to become. Think about two people standing in the exact same garden. One notices only the weeds. The other notices the flowers. The garden is the same, but their experience is completely different because of what they choose to focus on. Life works the same way. Every day gives us reasons to complain and reasons to be thankful. The direction of our attention becomes the direction of our energy. Many people believe that gratitude is simply saying thank you, but true gratitude is much deeper than polite words. It is a way of seeing the world. It is the decision to recognize blessings that others often overlook. It is appreciating your health before illness reminds you of its value. It is appreciating your family before distance teaches you how precious they are. It is appreciating today instead of constantly waiting for tomorrow. The women who radiate genuine beauty don't have perfect lives. They experience heartbreak, disappointment, failure, and uncertainty, just like everyone else. The difference is that they refuse to let difficult moments become the entire story. They acknowledge the pain, but they also search for the lesson. They recognize the struggle, but they also notice the strength that is building within them. Gratitude doesn't deny reality, it expands it. Imagine carrying 2 buckets every day. One bucket holds everything that has gone wrong. The other holds everything that has gone right. Every morning, you decide which bucket you will carry. If you carry only disappointments, your steps become heavy. Every conversation feels negative. Every opportunity seems impossible. But if you carry gratitude, something remarkable happens. Your burdens don't disappear, but they become lighter because your heart is no longer focused only on what is missing. Gratitude changes the way people see you because it changes the way you see life. Grateful people smile more often. They complain less. They encourage others instead of spreading negativity. They find joy in simple moments, a meaningful conversation, a sunrise, a cup of coffee, a laugh with a friend, or a quiet evening with family. These moments may seem ordinary, but together they create an extraordinary life. One of the greatest thieves of gratitude is comparison. The moment you begin measuring your life against someone else's, appreciation begins to disappear. Someone will always have more money, a bigger house, a better job, or a larger audience. If your happiness depends on having more than everyone else, you will spend your entire life chasing a finish line that keeps moving. But gratitude reminds you that your value is not determined by what someone else possesses. Your journey is unique, and your blessings are unique as well. There is another beautiful quality about grateful women. They don't take people for granted. They understand that relationships are life's greatest treasures. They express appreciation to their parents while they still can. They thank their friends for standing beside them. They recognize the efforts of their colleagues. They tell the people they love that they matter. They know that words of appreciation cost nothing but can become priceless gifts for those who receive them. Have you ever noticed how certain people leave you feeling lighter after spending time with them? They aren't necessarily wealthier or more successful than everyone else. They simply carry an attitude of gratitude. They celebrate small victories. They laugh easily. They make others feel valued. Their positive energy isn't fake optimism. It's the result of choosing appreciation over constant complaint. Gratitude also creates resilience. During life's hardest seasons, it becomes an anchor. Even when everything isn't going according to plan, grateful people continue to find reasons to hope. They remember how far they've come instead of focusing only on how far they still have to go. They trust that every challenge carries a lesson, every setback offers growth, and every ending can become the beginning of something new. This doesn't mean pretending that pain doesn't exist. It means refusing to allow pain to define your identity. A grateful heart can cry and still believe. It can struggle and still hope. It can face uncertainty and still choose joy. That kind of strength creates an inner beauty that no mirror can capture. Perhaps the most inspiring thing about gratitude is that it is contagious. When one person chooses appreciation, others begin to notice their own blessings. A grateful woman changes the atmosphere of her home, her workplace, and her community simply by the way she responds to life. She reminds people that joy isn't found in having everything. It's found in recognizing the value of what you already have. At the end of the day, the most beautiful energy doesn't come from perfection. It comes from a heart that has learned to appreciate life despite its imperfections. Makeup can enhance a face, but gratitude transforms a spirit. Fashion can change an appearance, but appreciation changes an attitude. And while physical beauty may attract attention for a moment, a grateful heart leaves a lasting impression that people never forget. That is why the women whose beauty comes from their energy make gratitude a daily habit. They understand that every sunrise is a gift, every lesson is an opportunity, every relationship is a blessing, and every new day is another chance to become a source of light in someone else's life. And when you carry that kind of gratitude within you, your beauty is no longer something people simply see. It becomes something they genuinely feel. Thank you all for your time, your attention, and your open hearts. Remember, true beauty isn't something you wear. It's the energy you choose to bring into the world every single day. Until we meet again, keep growing, keep inspiring, and let your light shine brighter than any makeup ever could. Thank you, and goodbye.